So joined now by Sydney Pennington. And Sydney, if you just want to start us off with your thoughts on being in the Super Regional, and then we'll take some questions.
Yeah, we're really excited. We had a short little practice today. I think we're all kind of ready. So at this point, we just go out and do what we've been doing, and we're going to be really good. So just kind of relaxing, staying calm, just taking it as another game. So it's going to be really exciting and hopefully a fun weekend.
Great. All right. Looks like we have a question here from Jenny Carlson of the Oklahoman. So go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Sydney, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, the fact that you guys are playing Texas, a team that you obviously know so well from Big 12 play, any advantages, disadvantages? How do you sort of see that?
So Coach G had said there's going to be no secrets in these games. We've done all we can to win 4 games. So I don't think that we need to be surprised by anything they do, and they probably won't be really surprised by anything that we do as well. So kind of crazy that we got Texas just playing them 4 times, but nothing changes for us. And I think if we can play like we did in our regional, then we'll be fine.
The fact that you played close games against them and came out victorious on several occasions, is that, I mean, you guys are obviously in a great place right now just overall because of how you've played over the last month, but just having that success against them and recently, does that help in any way?
Yeah, I think it just kind of shows that they are a beatable team and that we can beat them. So it is hard to beat a team 6 times. I mean, I don't know if I've ever played a team 6 times in one season, but if we just stay with us and focus on us and knock them, I think we'll be good to go. So we've been really focused this week on just kind of their pitchers and how our hitters should take approaches in the box. So I think if our hitting hadn't been great in the past games, I think you could kind of tell with the lower scores. So if we can just take that hitting from our regional last weekend into Texas, we'll be good.
All right. Our next question will come from Samuel Hutchins of the Oak-Collie. Go ahead, Sam.
Sydney, kind of going off what Jenny said there, is it, I'm guessing, maybe an advantage for the batters when you play a team 6 times in a season and it's harder on the pitchers? Where do you come out on kind of which group of players gets the advantage from playing a team like Texas so many times?
Yeah, I think our offense definitely has the advantage. We watch a lot of film before games, and playing them 4 times, you see a lot of at-bats and a lot of their staff. So we're prepared for every pitcher that they bring in. I'm sure they're, prepared as well. So I think the advantage definitely goes to the hitters, especially seeing lots of pitches, especially going into extra innings in the Big 12 tournament, more at-bats. So we're prepared, and I think the hitters definitely have an advantage in this situation on both sides. So main thing for us is to have clean defense, because I know that there's going to be a lot of hard hit balls from their hitters as well, knowing that they'll know our pitchers.
How many times do you have to see a pitcher before you get comfortable with them? Do you have to be in the box, or can you get comfortable completely from film, or is it, a pitch or a game?
Yeah, I think every person is a little bit different. Some of our girls will sit and watch film for an hour. Some will come in and watch one at bat. So it's just a feel thing, I think, just for each person. And I know for me, I just like to step in the box and hit. I'm not a huge, where's the ball going? What is she throwing? So I like to try to keep it simple and just get in the box and hit. And I think most of our girls like that. We're not a huge film team, so we do watch a little film before the games, but Coach G is really just about competing in the box. So we just like to get in there and grind it out and try to get hits. So
my last question for you is, do you think that, every team gets better as the course of the season goes on, but I assume they all happen differently. Do you think that this team is playing its best softball now?
Yes, 100%. I think we found ways to win games because that's what you need to do. But I don't think that we were playing great at all towards the middle of the season. I think once the Big 12 tournament kind of hit, we kind of flipped the switch a little bit, and from there, we've just been peaking. So it's perfect time, and I think we feel really good about it where we're at.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, looks like we're joined now by Coach Kenny Gaeske as well. Coach, if you'll start us off with your opening thoughts just on being on the Super Regional, and then we'll take a few more questions.
Yeah, obviously just excited to be back here. It's what we've been working for, and to put ourselves, these kids have put us in this great place. And you know, we're 2 games away from getting back to a place that that we want to get to, and not just get to, but we want to go win. And that's what these guys have changed for us. You know, there was a little video that was on our social maybe a few days ago that a couple of our kids were talking about, and I talked to them about it just last night, about how it's not just about getting back there, it's about making some noise, and before that you have to take care of this. And you know, the same narrative, the same message that we've had the last couple of weeks since OU in Bedlam. It's just they're in the way of something that we want, and we're going to have to go take it. And that's the mentality. And you know, I'm just trying to remind them that we just have to keep playing to the standard of OSU, and the standard is pretty high, and it's really cool. So we're excited about the opportunity. Obviously we both know each other well. No, I don't think there's any little tricks that we can pull out at this point in time that are going to fool anyone. It's just kind of, here's what we've got, here's what you've got, may the best team win.
All right, we'll go to Robert Allen of Pokes Report. Go ahead, Robert. Robert, you there? All right, we'll come back to him. We'll go to Danny Davis of the Austin American-Statesman. Go ahead, Danny.
Hey, Kenny, kind of going off that last point that you just made, is it an advantage to be playing a team for the 5th, 6th, 7th time, a disadvantage, or is it just is what it is at this point?
I kind of figured we get this type of a question at some point. I don't know, Danny, to be very honest. I don't. I really, and honestly, I really don't care. Like, because it's like another season now. All these kids that have been banged up, you know, and fighting all year, you kind of have fresh legs again to start with, you know, being in this type of event. The pitchers feel good. I'm sure O'Leary and Carey are going to come out throwing BBs from the first pitch, you know, because they're going to be feeling, you know, good again, you know, and then everybody will kind of settle in. So, you know, I was just talking with Coach White outside. I've known Mike for a long time, and I told him last night, I said, you have your head buried in film, or are you just kind of enjoying this? And he goes, I don't know what more that we can find out. I said, me either. And so it's just kind of cool. You know, we played 4 times. The last one was kind of a wacky game. Could have gone either way. And I don't know if there's an advantage to either one of them, either one of us. I just know we're both excited to have this opportunity. And we got to go out there and play, and that's what it's all about. That's what I've talked to these girls about all week long. Doesn't matter that you're 4-0. It doesn't matter if you're 0-4. It's a new day, and that's the best thing about our sport is there's always a new day.
When you consider what the Big 12 having 3 teams in the Super Regional, a couple more teams make the tournament, considering the season was a little weird with scheduling non-conference, how much did this conference get you prepared for this tournament and what the tournament was?
Yeah, this has been the best year of this conference in my time here, in 6 years. You know, now that Mike's here, he's really changed the narrative of what Texas ought to be and what they should be, what they now are. So that makes it very tough. We obviously know about OU. We see Iowa State starting to play the type of schedule that prepares you. It's why they got into a regional final as well. I know that Baylor, they've had a couple of years kind of down here, but they've had a lot of tough, sad stuff that it's been going on there. Glenn will bounce those kids back in that program back, and Texas Tech and Kansas are much improved and coming on. And even though their records may not have been as good, you still had to show up and play. And so the conference has prepared us. The Big 12 tournament has prepared us. Playing non-conference opponents like we all try to do has prepared us. And you're not part of the Oklahoma media here, but I've been trying to get the OU series for us changed to a home and home, not playing it 1-1-1. And we finally have got that done. And I think for us, for Oklahoma State at least, it's a very important thing because it's a super regional weekend at home or going there. And we just need more of those. And so, the league is much improved. That's why there's 3 teams left. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great weekend here.
Okay, we'll go back to Robert Allen. Robert, go ahead if you're ready.
Yeah, I hope that's a sign of the future. The fact I forgot I had to unmute myself. Sydney, where's that home run ball, the record ball?
I think my parents have it.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if you'd had a chance to look at it or anything. And I know that's something for once the season's over. Question for both. And Kenny, you kind of brought it up with the last reporter's questions. The finish of that last game with Texas in the Big 12 tournament, the fact it was as weird a finish as I've never seen a walk-off, third strike error as a walk-off. Does that play any role here? Because, I mean, when you lose a game that way, sometimes as a team, and I know I'm trying to put you in their heads and you don't want to go there, you start thinking, God, I mean, we can't beat these people. I mean, we're losing by ways you never imagined you could lose.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a walk-off pass ball. I just haven't seen it from first base. So, like, that's the weird thing. I've seen it in baseball where a ball gets by and the runner scores. I haven't seen it a lot. But from first base, that's I told somebody this just last night. That's the beauty and the beast of Mary Iakopo's arm. Her arm is the best arm in the country. And when she overthrows a ball, it could go into tomorrow. I mean, it could go into at OKC, it could go into more. That's how far, that's how hard and how good her arm is. So, she saves them a lot. And if she ever happens to make a poor throw, which is not very often, it could really go. So that was really the only way that happened. I don't think they're even thinking about that last game. It's so far away, and they just won a regional against Oregon. I got to think that was an emotional drain and a physical drain playing those late games, but also all the needless emotion of where Mike came from. Like that was a poor deal for Texas from the start. They were set up to fail there in my mind, and they came out of it. So credit them. And I mean, I think that game that we played last, I don't even think it's in their mind.
Sydney, do you remember what you were thinking when that happened?
Yeah, just to kind of bounce off Coach G, I think it's pretty uncharacteristic of Mary for that. So it was kind of a weird ending. Probably won't happen again for her. But we just need to score more runs, I think, offensively, and that doesn't ever happen, even a close game like that. So I think at this point we know where we're at, and if we just keep playing like we're doing, we're good to go. You don't see stuff like that happen.
Yeah, and Kenny, you weren't in there when Sydney talked about feeling like this team is playing the best it's played all season right now. And you look back on the 3 games at Texas in this series, which I did, it's to me, it's almost like the magic number's 5. Your offense gets to 5 runs on the board. That seemed like that was the point where Texas couldn't catch you. And I know I'm trying to oversimplify this, but I do think Oklahoma State's the more offensive team.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, their numbers, are a little better than ours just on paper. But you have to start matching up schedules and everything. It doesn't even matter at this point. You can throw out all this stuff. Like, we have one of the best pitchers in the country in Carey and Kelly as the combo. They have a pretty good 1-2 punch too, man. Like, this is going to be a grind. Like, I don't think a lot of runs are going to be scored. I don't know. It's just my gut. It's going to be – this is going to come down to defense. You know what I mean? And who plays clean. You don't have to play perfect, but who plays clean. And, the big hit, like Robert, we outplayed OU when they came here, but they won 2 of the 3 games. I mean, I can't change that, you know what I mean? But on paper, we outplayed them. So it is what it is. I really think we're just going to play good defense, pitch well, and get timely hits. I think we'll be just fine.
Last thing with your left field corral out there, I think you're going to impact the Memorial Day lake attendance. I think the lake attendance will be down and your corral will be up.
Yeah, I told my friends if they're not there, I'm going to cut those decks down so they'll never be back again.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to Jenny Carlson. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, drop third strikes to win games. You got to go watch some kids t-ball. You'll see that every day.
Yeah, you're right.
Jenny, I'm curious, just a year ago, softball goes silent. And here we are in Oklahoma getting ready for Women's College World Series next weekend. Both you and OU hosting regionals, supers. I mean, obviously this year was going to feel different regardless, but to have both schools in such high profile, what does it feel like to be in the middle of all of that?
Feels good. I mean, that's what it feels like first is it feels good. It feels good that we're doing our part. Because OU's been there for so long, you know what I mean? And you know, with Patty, what she's done has just been crazy. And before Patty, what Sandy did here at OSU was just crazy. And so that's, Jenny, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this here, because I just felt like this could be done here. And so it just feels good to have this and to have this state this state is softball crazy right now. And they've been like that with OU, but now you're getting our fans, and then you're getting some OU fans that even when we're not playing them are pulling for us. And I'm not sure our fans are pulling for them yet, but you know, it's kind of neat. And it's just cool how it's so intertwined. My phone, as you can imagine, is going nuts. And I've got so many of my players I played with over at OU and friends that I worked with, friends that I met as I lived there for 15, 20 years, you know, sending me some people are just coming out on Facebook, you know, to me on the Messenger. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is just so cool to know that these people are following. And even though they wear red, or, you know, even though they may not be OSU either, maybe they're not OU or OSU, it's really cool to see how this state has embraced softball, the tournament. You know, it's great for our conference. It's great to have the Big 12 tournament there. It's just so cool. And I really wish we were all in the same room, like right now. Like this sucks. I'm like over this, like being on Zoom. You know what I mean? I want to see you guys in person and go through all this, but we're getting close, and it's just an amazing time, and it's something that I've dreamt about, and I'm not afraid to. I mean, we dream big here, and it's not a pipe dream. It's reality, and I'm just happy for these kids that they made it happen, because it really is them. It's not. I mean, I don't get to play. I just get to kind of steer the bus, but they're playing. It's all on them.
Hey, real quick, and this may not be a quick answer, so I apologize, but you mentioned Patty, and you've talked about her and OU. You haven't been, you know, afraid to do that. Obviously, you know them from an insider's viewpoint too. When you think about her specifically and her impact on where the sport is, where the state is, all of those sorts of bigger picture things, what sort of springs to mind? What's top of the list when you think about her impact?
Well, I mean, I use the word standard. I mean, they are the standard in softball right now, and they have been for a good number of years. Florida and OU, really, to be honest, like Alabama would be right there, I think, as well. But both Florida and OU, now UCLA is kind of back again, you know, they're running good. Like, these are the standards. Like, she has made everybody across the country invest in softball. Like, and if you want, like, they invest in softball there. Like, they're not scared to spend on softball. The way they travel, the way they get out and hustle. Like, there's nobody in the country out recruiting OU. Nobody. And if you think that they're just getting players because they win, that you're thinking the wrong way. They hustle. I'm trying to hustle just like them, and it's tiring. And so part of that is winning. That helps. But you still have to hustle. And she hasn't lost her edge. She hasn't lost her drive. She's in a way, she's remade herself. Like, they won in 2000 and then kind of went away for a bit. And now they're back, and they're not just back. They're back as good as she's ever been. And so people lose sight of that. Like, they forget about 2000, and then they kind of went away for 4 or 5 years, and now they're back, she wears me down because it's a constant chase, and I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. And I'm glad she's right here because I don't have to wonder. I see it every day. And I'm thankful. Like, I'll be totally thrilled if she wants to retire. I'll be thrilled. And I'll throw her the biggest party, but I'm glad that she's close because it really does help us.
That's been the trend down there. So who knows? Maybe that's happening.
Hey, I'm all in. If I can help.
Thanks, Kenny.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Eric Lopez. Go ahead, Eric.
Sydney, first for you, what's it like playing for Coach Gaeske and as well as the staff, Coach Cottrell and Barfield?
It's been great. Everything that I expected. I remember when I came and talked to Coach G before I officially decided to come here, I guess. He told me a lot of things and stayed true to all of them throughout my time here. So, yeah, it's been amazing with my experience with them. They've made me a great player, person, and I think the biggest thing with our staff is they make you well-rounded people, and they want you to leave here a woman. You come here as a kid, I feel like, and you kind of grow into yourself and become a woman and ready for the world. So that's been the biggest thing for me, is just how they really care about every aspect of your life, not just softball.
Coach, what has Sydney meant to your program?
Oh, she's meant a ton. I mean, I can just tell you this, like when she recommitted, whatever you want to say it is, I can remember texting our staff saying the first domino has just fallen. Like, and it's a big deal. Like, we needed her to say yes. I didn't try to overpromise or anything. I just told her, kind of laid out what we would do. And I don't know if it's more than what she thought up to this point, but she's just somebody that comes every day. She has the same smile that you guys see. She's all in for OSU. Like, it's crazy. I ask her to do things. She's never says no. She never gives me any sort of huffy puffy deal. I try to respect her time. But she truly is the face of this program, and that's hard, and it can wear on you, and it's lonely, and people get jealous and all that stuff, and she just handles it in stride. And I know she's had some tough times and tough things, but like, you would never know it. Like, I can't recall a bad day here. I just can't recall like a day where I'm like, what is wrong? And so she just comes from a really good family, great athletes, good people, hard workers, a lot of expectations, and she's lived up to all those and just continues to take her family name even higher in the state, and it's really cool. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful she's coming back. I was really concerned about the fact that she may not come back, and when she told me, I can remember being pretty happy, and it just means a lot to us, and it really does. It just, when you have a kid like this that is all in for OSU, it's really big.
Coach Gasso mentioned this earlier this week that she wasn't pleased that the committee paired you up with Texas in the Supers. I just spoke to Lou Harris-Champer earlier today about being paired up with Florida. You've dealt with this. Coach Walton has had to deal with this, playing SEC teams in the Supers for multiple years. I think they played Kentucky the year you were there in the Supers. Do you wish that the committee would look at that more closely and try to avoid these conference super regional matchups?
It's an interesting question. I don't want to get too involved in it, and here's why. Because then they'll start asking me to be on one of those committees, and I want no part of it. Because it's a really hard job, right? It's a really hard job. But I don't like it, but I also understand understand it. Because if you look back in the 80s and 90s, if you didn't match up Pac-12 teams, the World Series would have been Pac-12 or Pac-10 then, whatever it is. That's what it would have been. So I think that's part of this. They don't want too many SEC teams in or too many Big 12. They want to. It's we're all about parity. So tired of that word, but I think that's what it is. They want some parity even in the conference way. So it is what it is. You got to beat good teams. Everybody left is really good. How you break them up, I don't know. Texas, OU, I don't know. You're gonna have to play them at some point. So you might as well just get it here. And I'm glad it's at our house.
All right, we'll take two more quick ones here, and then we'll wrap things up. We'll start with Sam Hutchins, and we'll close with Robert Allen. So go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, Coach, I talked with Sydney a little bit, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I'm guilty as anyone of saying, looking at the Texas and Oklahoma State series this year and saying, undefeated. But I feel like this Oklahoma State team and this Texas team, with the way that teams improve throughout the season, are much different than the teams that played even back in the middle of the season. Where do you come out on teams improving? And is this series between two different teams than the team you guys played just a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I don't think much. We may be hitting on more cylinders offensively up to this point. Since then, we've been playing good defense. We've been pitching good the whole year. So, maybe that's it. I don't know. I've watched all of Texas games. I respect these guys a lot. They're good. These hitters are good. They can pitch, and they're athletic. And it's just going to come down to playing good softball. I haven't looked too much in, or do they look a whole lot different? I mean, I've watched them play. They're playing other regional type teams, and so you're just playing good teams, and it's just about who can play well this weekend. That's it. That's all that matters up to this point.
All right, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I was gonna ask both Coach and Sydney this, but I kind of want Sydney to start. I asked a lot last week about the retreat you took after the Big 12, kind of getting together away from the softball diamond and gelling a little bit more. Coach mentioned you're the face of the program, Sydney, but there's a lot of alphas on this team. When you start watching this team and when they come to bat, there's an alpha in the leadoff spot. There's an alpha in the second hole. There's an alpha in cleanup. I mean, and when I say alpha, I mean on any other team, they might be the sole team leader. How does that chemistry work? And how has it worked all year? Because it seems right now, everybody really is on the same page and willing to give up for their teammates.
Yeah, I don't think, one of us tries to overpower the other. I think we all just, want to work together, and we know that if we do that, then we're going to be better. So I don't think that there's one certain alpha. I mean, that's if you're asking. I think that everybody brings different leadership skills to the table, and when we combine those, that's when we are really good. So, in the lineup up and down, or, there's people, you have Rock in the dugout, who's the leader of the dugout. So, you have different roles. So I think everyone's kind of figured out their role on the team. And it took a while this year, I think, to figure that out. And I think once we did that, that's when we started really excelling and playing our best. So I think everyone just knows kind of where they're at and what they need to bring to the team. And I think that's kind of how we define, the leadership roles.
I think that's the culture, if that's the word you want to use. That's the way. It's the cowgirl way here. Like, we don't promote one person here. We promote good people. And the one thing I tell all these kids, these transfers that come in here, if you think you're going to walk in here and take this team over, you're making a big mistake here. You're going to have to earn their trust. And you can do that very fast. But nobody's going to hand anything over here. I don't promise any of those kids. I'm talking to some transfers right now, like, just telling them, like, I don't know that you want this. This is not easy. Like, you're gonna have to carry a big time torch here. Like, I'm not so sure that that's getting any easier. And So as we go along, like, it really frees these kids up to just be good people and just be good teammates. And when you're a good teammate and you're truly invested in people you're competing with or against, like, and you can genuinely be behind them, you'll be amazed on what you can get back. It's like the stock market, right? You put money in, you get money back most of the time. So invest in your teammates, invest in them as people. And when you're hitting and it's on the line, they'll be behind you. They'll be wanting you to succeed. So we do have a lot of alpha females here. That's what I want. But I also want them to understand that you can't do it all by yourself, and you need all of us. And that's what I think we've really done a good job of here, and we need to keep doing a good job of here.
Thank you both.
All right. Well, Coach Sydney, thank you very, very much, and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thanks, guys.